could be. I mean, I could be. I mean, I could be. I mean, I could be. Feminine, I'm feminine. Woman, let me be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. I can be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. Let me be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. I can be a woman. Woman, woman, I'm feminine. Woman, let me be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. I can be a woman. Woman, woman, woman. Let me be a Jason. Jason Drew.
Get jazzy on 'em. I'm that flight that you get on, international. First class seat on my lap, girl. Riding comfortable. Cause I know what that girl them need. New York to Haiti. I got lipstick stamps on my passport. You make it hard to leave. Been around the world, don't speak the language. But your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Get jazzy on 'em. You know the words in my songs. No habla English. Our conversations ain't long, but you know what is. I know what that girl them want. London to Taiwan. I got lipstick stamps on my passport. I think I need a new one. Been around the world, don't speak the language, but your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Met my friend in Rio. She was all on me. We can make Nazi 3 Oh yeah.
Those cadenas, close Virginians. Sold out arenas, you can suck my penis. Gilbert Arenas, guns on deck. Chest to chest, tongue on neck. International.
What's up, guys? We're about to get started here. AutoBody business workshop. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can leave if you leave a chat. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, and I can see your chat, and I can answer your question. We're gonna be going live every Monday at 7 o'clock. So if y'all have any questions on the AutoBody business, you can drop the questions in the chat or in the comments, and I'll make sure to follow up on your question on next Monday at 7 o'clock. Let me see something real quick. What's over here? We're going to cover a few things tonight. I would say we can cover business structure, the business structure, and finding the right location. We can start with those two. Let me get my notes here and then we'll get started. And like I said, if you have any questions, y'all can leave them on. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave the questions in the chat, and I'll be able to see your questions. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the business structure. How are you going to structure your collision shop? How are you going to structure your body shop? Even if you have a mechanic shop, how are you going to structure that shop, right? And so there's a few ways to structure it. Most technicians that go into business for themselves, what ends up happening is they open like a sole proprietor, and basically what that is, they go down to the courthouse and they get a DBA, doing business as, and basically their tax ID number is their social security number. Okay, and so basically, let's say your name is John. So and let's just say your mechanic shop or your body shop is let's say it's called AutoBody specialist, right? So basically it'll be like John doing business as AutoBody specialist, right? So it's DBA AutoBody specialist, and basically you're using that name to do business because you're not using your name. But the thing is, the tax ID number is in your social security number. So basically, like, you're self-employed, right? And basically, you're going to be paying more taxes at the end of the year because of that structure. Okay. One of the biggest problems with that structure is that everything is in your name, even though you have a DBA. Everything, you're responsible for everything. So all the liability falls back on you. So what does that mean? That means that let's say, for example, you have a house, you have a car, you have some nice things, Maybe you have two houses, right? Maybe you're doing good. Maybe you have a retirement because you were a technician for a number of years and you have a small retirement, and you decide to open a shop, right? And you do it under a DBA, and it's a sole proprietor, and basically the tax number is your social security number. And so if something were to happen with that shop, if someone were to try to sue you, they would actually go after your personal assets because everything is in your name. Okay. So that's very risky, especially nowadays with the auto body industry, and just people are crazy. People are crazy. People try to find any way they can to take advantage of business owners. And so you got to make sure you're protected, right? So the proper way to do it is to form an LLC. Okay. Basically, what the LLC is a separate entity from your name. So basically, whenever you set up the LLC, they're going to give you an EIN number, right? Well, the EIN number is a tax ID number. It's a tax number. So it's not your social security number. It's an EIN number. So it's separate from you. So what you do is you separate yourself from the business. So now you're actually you're an owner of the business, but it's an entity of itself. It's like a separate person. It's like an invisible person, right? So so basically you're gonna work for the LLC. So now it's gonna be let's just say it's Collision Specialist LLC, and John is an employee of Collision Specialist LLC. Okay. So now John, it's Collision Specialist LLC, and John actually works for that company. So he actually works for the LLC, but he owns both of them. And so if anything were to happen at the company, they would sue the LLC, and whatever the LLC owns, that's part of the business. But the thing is, like, the LLC is not going to own anything. The LLC just holds the name and does the business under that name. You understand? It can get very, you can have multiple LLCs, right? So for example, let's just say you have Collision Specialist LLC, and I might be losing some people here, but let's say you have Collision Specialist LLC, right? But then you go and buy some equipment, right? And you don't want to put the equipment under the business name. So you create a separate LLC. So now you have two LLCs. One owns the equipment and one owns the business, right? So if someone were to go after the business, they wouldn't be able to get the equipment because it's a separate LLC. You see how that works? So the LLC separates your assets, right? And it also protects your personal assets. So the business structure is going to be very, very important. A couple ways you can do this. You can do it through LegalZoom. There's some other websites that we use that I don't have them offhand, but if you reach out to me, I can actually give you those. And the LLC costs, like, you'll probably spend, let's say at the most, maybe like about maybe 800, maybe less than that. It depends on how fast you want to do it, right? So for example, you can get the LLC and you say you want it expedited, you want it done within, 24 hours, right? And so they'll charge you to do it that fast. But if you say, you know what, I'm just going to wait the 2 or 3 weeks for them to process it regularly, it's actually a lot cheaper. So you can actually get it a lot cheaper. Whenever you get the LLC, like I said, you get the EIN number. So now you have the LLC, you have the EIN number. So now you can go and open a bank account under that LLC. You understand? So now you have a separate bank account just for that business. All right. There's a lot of advantages to having the LLC because the taxes are lower. And so your tax advisor, your tax person is gonna be able to help you navigate through that. Let me tell you something that's important that I want to add to this. So your tax person, okay, this is going to be very important because one of the mistakes that I made early on starting a business, I was a sole proprietor for a long time. And the tax person I had doing my taxes was always trying to save me like from paying taxes, right? And I thought that she was helping me out. But in reality, what was happening is it was actually hurting me because whenever I turned in my taxes, it showed that I didn't make a profit because there was a lot of expenses. It wasn't run efficiently as good as it should have because I was the problem I did was I was taking her business advice, and she's not a tax person. I mean, she's not a business person. She just does taxes and she does bookkeeping. Okay. So the mistake I made was taking business advice from that person. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that not one of the biggest mistakes, but that's a mistake that I made early in business, taking advice from people that didn't have business experience, people that didn't have business knowledge. Yes, she had a business, but she was a sole proprietor as well. You understand? So I was taking information from someone that really didn't know how to operate a business, right? So having a really good tax person, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Like it doesn't have to be expensive to have a tax person to understand like how you can structure and how you can do your bookkeeping to make sure everything's correct. Okay. Uh, the business structure, like I said, it's gonna be very important. A lot of people ask, okay, do I need an LLC right away? Should I do that first before I open a business? It's really up to you. It's really up to you. A lot of people will procrastinate and they'll say, well, wait, as soon as I get my LLC, I'm gonna open a business. As soon as I get my LLC, what I would suggest is like just start doing business. Like just start doing business and start generating income. Because when you start to generate the income, even if it's a small win, you're gonna build that momentum and you're gonna get excited to hurry up and want to do the LLC so you can transition over. What you don't want to do is you don't want to wait forever to transition the LLC. You don't want to start your business and then wait 2 or 3 years and then try to transition the LLC when you already have, you know, a place and you're already going and you have expenses and you have checks out and you have all this stuff because it's going to be harder to transition over. And plus, you want to make sure you start at the beginning of the year. You want to make sure you start the year right. Okay, that's one thing with the structure. Uh, so the sole proprietor, like I said, is going to be very risky. You could you could start off like that if you're just like, man, you know what, I just want to get started. I really don't have a lot of money to invest. I just know that I can get work in. I would suggest making like an authorization form that releases all liabilities to you. Like I would just create a form, and you could do this very cheap. You can call an attorney's office and say, hey, I need to see if you can make me a release a release of liability form for my repair shop. And you can say, I want everything, like I want to be like, if something happens, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm just going to do a job and that's it. I'm not going to be responsible for anything. And whenever you do a job, you can have them sign this. Say, hey, I need you to sign this release that I'm not responsible for anything. And that's gonna protect you. That's gonna be one way to protect you if you're looking to get started. And if you need help with that, I can actually help you get that set up. We have several business attorneys that work with us within our business and our other businesses that I'll be happy to connect to, and I'll be happy to even maybe I can get like a template and it can be a blank template and you can actually go in there and fill your business out in there. Maybe I will create that like a PDF form that you can download. You would have to reach out to me for that because I don't want to just like make it and then put it public and then everybody's just using it. I only want to give it to the people that actually really want to connect with us and are looking to kind of benefit their business. And let me see. If y'all have any questions, like, man, ask any questions you have. Like I said, ask any questions. We're live on Zoom, but we're also live on YouTube, and I believe we're live on Facebook and on some other platforms as well. So if y'all have any questions, I mean, man, please ask them. If I can see them, then I'll answer them. Take advantage of this time, man. Like if you're watching, take advantage of asking any question. Like I'm telling you, ask any question that you're concerned with, an obstacle, something that's stressing you out. Because I'll answer it the best I can. If I can't, then I'll get you to the right information to make sure that it's answered. So the other thing we were going to discuss was finding the right location, right? So we talked about the, what time do we have here? Okay, we talked about the structure of the business. Now let's talking about finding the right location. Okay, finding the right location is going to be very important you want to look at it like long-term wise, okay? And you also want to figure out like who is your audience, who's your targeted client, who's the targeted client that you want to do business with, right? And and the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people will say, you know what, I just need to find a shop that's cheap that I can just start working on, right? Okay, that's a good idea, you know, but you have to think about this. Are you gonna have nice cars there? Okay. Is it gonna be safe? Okay, people are gonna be trying to jack into your place. And you can say, man, you know what, I'm just gonna be doing restoration, or I'm gonna start off just doing side jobs, maybe one or two jobs. Okay. But are you gonna have expensive equipment there? Are you gonna have a lot of equipment there? Okay, because people will steal your tools. You understand? People will steal your tools. When I first started, we had a shop, and it was a very like cheap shop, and it wasn't really too secure. And some people got in there, and they stole a bunch of tools. They stole, you know, some thing like a plasma cutter, some stuff that I needed to really make money, right? So it actually set me back a little bit. So maybe you don't want to have your paint guns laying around. You know, those Theta jets are like $500. You don't want to just leave those guns laying around, and someone run off with those guns. So location is going to be very important, because also too, like if you're expecting to do nice jobs, if you want to do more insurance claims, you're going to want to make sure that your shop's in a nice place that people actually that feel comfortable taking their car there. You don't want to take it to where it looks like a junkyard. Because see, the thing is, think about this. One thing that I recognized was that a lot of people they claim to be like OCD, right? They're like, man, I'm OCD, right? Well, there's a lot of people that think like that, or that they maybe they feel like they're diagnosed with that, or whatever you want to say, right? Um, so like you want to make sure you have a clean place. You want to make sure it's organized, because if someone that's very clean go to a dirty place, they're not gonna feel comfortable because it's dirty. They're gonna be looking around, and they're not gonna be like, man, I don't want to do business with this person because it's dirty. Kind of like if you go to a restaurant, you're looking around to see how clean it is. Okay, it's the same thing for a shop. So don't think that just because you have a shop that it needs to be dirty. So change it up, like set the standard. So when people come to your shop, it's like, oh man, this place is nice. Like this place, I didn't expect it to be this clean, or I didn't expect it to be this organized, or I didn't expect the outside to look so nice, you know? So really think about that. The location is going to be very important, right? So look, whenever you find a location, you're either going to do month to month, or you're going to do a 1-year lease, okay? And so the way the lease works is a lease is basically an agreement between you and the owner of the building. And typically a lease is for 1 year, right? And basically what that lease is saying, it's saying that you're guaranteeing to stay there for 1 year and to pay the rent for 1 year. Okay. So for example, let's just say your rent is $1,000, and you're going to be there for a year. You're guaranteeing them you're going to pay them the $12,000. So it's almost like a guarantee that you're going to pay them the money, right? And one of the things that a lot of people fear is they fear that, what if I can't pay it? What if I, you know, I'm late? What if I'm this? What if I'm that? So think about it like this. So like you can actually negotiate your lease. So you can actually negotiate your lease to say, hey, you know what? This is going to be my first location. I'm just seeing how it goes. You know, I have a second job. I'm going to be here on the nights and the weekend, but this is something that I really want to do. Will you work with me? And they're going to say, well, what do you mean? Say, will you work with me? Let's just say, for example, if I'm here for 6 months and I can't afford to pay it, is it okay if I maybe have to break the lease? Like, can we kind of maybe is that something that might be okay? You know, or I know rent is due on the 1st. Is it okay if I pay it by the 5th, or can I pay half on the 1st and then half on the 15th? Or you could say, hey, if I fix up the place, you think you can drop the rent down a little bit? Or one thing that we did a while back was we actually we found a building, right? And I told the owner of the building, I said, hey, would you give me 4 months for free if we fix up the place and paint it, and we'll make it look nice, and we'll put the floor, whatever, right? We'll put some lights in there, we'll make it look nice, and if we move out, you can have all, like, it'll be nice to fix up already. And so he said, you know what? I'll go ahead and do that for y'all. So we actually got 4 months of rent for free. So we're able to move in. While we moved in, we're fixing up the place, but we also started to market to get work. So whenever the 4 months came, we already had traction to help pay for the rent. And the lease didn't start till after the 4th month. So there's a bunch of things you can do to negotiate the lease. So just because you have a lease, don't be scared about it. The reasons why they have a lease is because they want to make sure that someone's going to pay and they're going to pay it, right? So let's just say you can't pay it and you get evicted. So what does that look like? Okay. So basically, let's say you can't pay most tenants will work with you. So I would suggest, whenever you're finding a location, meet the owner and just say, hey, this is going to be my first shop. I'm going to try my best to be on time, and I'm going to try my best. I'm going to work hard. I'm really going to make this work. Can we work together on this? And, I know I'm going to have some hard months. I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to let you down. Like, I'll pay it. I just need more time on some months until I get my business going, and just be straight up with them, And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'll work with you. I understand, man. I was once in your position. I'll help you out. The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to screw them over. Like, you don't want to go like 2 months without paying, and then you just move out and you leave a mess. And like, now he's having to pay someone to go clean it up. He's having to pay someone to repaint it. He's having to pay someone to remove old cars, old parts, oil. Like, that's when it becomes ugly, because then what's going to happen is he's gonna file an eviction on you. Okay. When he files the eviction, basically he's gonna take you to court, and basically you're gonna be removed. But let me tell you this. So just because you break the lease doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna go against you. Okay. The reason why people evict is because, let's just say someone has a 1-year lease, right? And they haven't paid the rent in 2 months, but they're still living there. Okay. The owner can't go kick anybody out. Like, he has to file an eviction. And then if the eviction goes through, they give them 30 days. So this is because they own the property. They can't go in there and kick anybody out. So for example, if you have a shop and you're doing good for the first 6 months, 7 months, and then you fall off and you can't pay and you're behind 2 months, like, they can't kick you out because you have a lease, you have rights. But what they'll do is they'll take you to court and they'll say, hey, we want to evict this guy because he hasn't paid the rent or whatever, right? And the court says, okay, how come you haven't paid the rent? You're gonna be like, okay, well, I couldn't afford it. And the judge is gonna be like, well, that's not an excuse. Like, it's not an excuse. Like, you have to pay it. Like, it's just like owning a car, right? You can't just call the bank and say, I can't pay it this month. But I guarantee if you call the bank and say, hey, I need some help because I'm falling behind, the bank will work with you, just like a shop owner will work with you on a lease or whatever you're trying to do. So don't get intimidated by the lease thing. Like, don't get intimidated by it, because there's a lot of people that will work with you. The other option you can do is you can do month to month. So month to month is basically saying that, like, you're not on a 1-year lease, you're just paying month to month. So from 1 month to the next month to the next month. And the only thing with that is, like, you just got to give a 30-day notice if you're going to move out. What I would highly suggest is, like, don't screw anybody over when you get your place. Like, what I mean by that is, like, get the place and be very clear with the owner. Says, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my situation. I just want to be clear with you of this is what I got going on, and I might run into some problems, but if you can help me out, I really would appreciate it, right? And they will work with you. Also, too, like you can negotiate the rent down. So don't just because they have a price on there, don't just assume that's the price. Negotiating with them. I mean, one thing you can do is like if a building's been vacant for a long time, they're probably pretty desperate to get it rented. So say, hey, are you willing to work with me on the price? Or you could say, hey, you know what? Let's say, for example, the rent's 1,500, right? You could say, hey, can we do a 6 month lease for $1,000, and then after the 6 months, we can go up to 1,500. That way, I can get my business going. There's a bunch of things you can do. Like there's a bunch of things you can do. A lot of people don't really know how the lease works. A lot of times they're scared to do the lease. So don't let the lease scare you because it's not really a big deal. You know, I have 5 minutes left. I'm gonna be on here every Monday at 7 o'clock. Okay. Uh, leave your comments in the chat if you have a question, and then I'll address it next week. Okay, or I'll answer the question in the comments. But use this time like to ask any questions. We could take the conversation wherever you want to take it. Today I was talking about business structure and finding the right location. We're gonna every Monday we're gonna share two things, whether it be marketing, whether it be building your team, financing equipment, um, hiring your technicians, how to get workflow, how to get fleet accounts. I'm going to be sharing all this stuff with you. So I encourage you to ask questions, man. If y'all have any questions, there's no dumb questions, man. There's no dumb questions. Hey, Simon. Thanks, brother. There's no dumb questions, man. The thing is, like, if you're a technician, right now and you're looking to transition to opening a shop, there's a bunch of different skills you will need to develop. Like you're gonna need to develop these skills. Let me tell you my story, if I may. I started off. I dropped out in ninth grade. I had twin boys. I started off as a porter. Okay. I started washing cars, and then I learned how to do body work. And then I had a Ford Bronco, and I wanted to make it a lowrider. So I started to learn how to do custom painting. And so I was actually ranked one of the top painters in Texas for a long time. Let me see if I can pull up a video. I don't know if it'll play here, but let me see. And you'll see some of the work that I did. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if it'll let me do that. Let me see if I can just find a picture of some cars I did. Let's see. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you have any questions, like, man, drop the questions. Anything related to the body shop industry, whatever level you're at. If you're a technician, if you're trying to make more money as a technician, let me know what you're trying to figure out, and let me know what's keeping you up at night. What is keeping you up at night? Say, man, you know what? If I were just to figure this out, I think I would actually make more money. I think it'll probably maybe take me in a different direction, or I feel this obstacle is like really in my way, and it's kind of frustrating, or whatever the case. Let me know what it is, and let's see if we can unpack that and maybe come to a solution on that. Let me see. I have the pictures here. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna share with y'all. Let me see, where's that? There it is. This was some of my work. This is some of my work when I let's see. Can y'all see it? Let me know if you can see it. There, you should be able to see it. I just don't see the. Okay, there's. So yeah, this is some of the work that I did, and that's some of the stuff we're going to be covering right there too. If you can see it. So yeah, this. So I started off as a porter. Then I transitioned to doing body work. Then I started to learn how to paint. Then I got into custom painting. And I was actually ranked one of the top painters in Texas for a while. Let me see. Yeah, so I did custom painting for a long time as a technician. I did a lot of the work myself, and I really was interested in business. And whenever I decided to go down that route, man, it was very eye opening because I didn't really know anything about business, and so I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot, and I had a lot of mentors that helped me through the process and helped me develop. And that's what I'm doing here, man. Now, as I'm just giving back, some of that knowledge that I learned over the years and stuff, and just adding value, man. So if y'all have any questions, please let me know what questions you have, and and we can go. What's up, Diego? How you doing, man? What's up, Simon? You have any questions, Diego? These Zooms are only going to be for 30 minutes, but if you have questions, I'll go longer. But I hope the video added value with the business structure and finding the right location. And hopefully, y'all guys are looking to find a shop. Maybe you're looking to transition over. But whatever I can do to help you out, please let us know. And remember, if y'all aren't subscribed, please subscribe so y'all get the notification on our video for next Monday. So every Monday at 7 o'clock, I'll be going live again, and we'll be dropping some more knowledge and some more nuggets. Next week, I'm gonna go over equipment needed, systems. The next week after that, we'll go over branding, marketing, and I have some other good things coming up. And like I said, if y'all have any questions, I can definitely help with y'all's questions. All right, man, doing good. Good to hear. Man, for the so check it out, Diego, for the booth, the paint booth. And Diego's question was, do you know what permits are needed to have a paint booth in Texas? So there's a couple of things you can do, right? Because technically, if you're not painting a whole car, you don't need a booth. You don't need a whole booth, right? But typically, what you'll probably have to do is what we did was we installed our booth inside the shop, but we had an electrician come out and wire everything up. So everything was legit. Everything was wired correctly. A lot of times, they won't really mess with you, dude. If you're not doing anything crazy, if you're not making a bunch of mess as far as like if you're not painting like if you're not getting complaints from people around you. So like I said, location really matters. Location really matters. I'm pretty sure if you're gonna do like a downdraft and you have to cut the concrete, you're probably gonna need a building permit for that. But that's not gonna be very hard because look, the cool thing about whenever you buy a paint booth is they come with blueprints, okay? And the blueprints are very simple. So if anything, what we did, this is what we did when we did ours. Whenever you get the paint booth, right, it's gonna come with instructions. And it sounds crazy, but it's actually very simple. Once you get the momentum going, like with with building the frame of the paint booth, it goes up really, really quick. Okay. It goes up really, the walls go up really quick. Everything goes up. If you could put the frame up yourself, I'll share with you the story. Check this out. This is a crazy story. But I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna answer your question. So look, if you buy a paint booth, you can buy it from like AutoBody tool marts. They're pretty cheap there. You can buy the galvanized paint booth. It's like one of the cheaper paint booths, and you can actually paint the inside with Rust-Oleum. So you don't have to get a powder coated crazy paint booth. You can buy a galvanized paint booth, paint the inside with Rust-Oleum. It's going to be bright white, and then you can hire a general contractor to come install the lights and come install the ventilation up there. If they have to pull a permit, they'll be able to pull that permit for you very easy. So it's not very expensive. What might be expensive if you hire a company to come put the booth in for you, but it all depends on what kind of booth you're gonna get. You can actually finance a booth. You can actually finance a booth once you build your business credit with the bank. A lot of times they only require 20% down for a paint booth. So for example, if the paint booth is 10,000, you only have to put 2,000 down to finance a paint booth. You understand? You only got to put that down. Let me see. Let me see if I can get you the Zoom link over here. How can we get Simon the Zoom link? Let me see. So to answer your question, Diego, you might have to get the fire suppression system. It really depends on what kind of work you're gonna be doing. If you're gonna do like some minor repairs, what's really popular right now is the inflatable paint booths. So because you don't need anything for those, you can put those outside. You can put them in the shop. You can put them wherever. We had it was like a franchise come to town, and they set up shop in a warehouse, and they had one of an inflatable paint booth. But the thing is, they didn't know anybody in town, and their brand wasn't big enough, so they couldn't get any work. So they moved out. But yeah, there's a bunch of ways to get the paint booth. I wouldn't let that be an obstacle. Like I said, you don't need a paint booth if you're only gonna paint. I want to say it's 2 to 3 panels. So if you're painting 2 to 3 panels, you don't need a booth, an enclosed booth for that. If you're doing completes, you're gonna need a booth. So I personally would stay away from completes because there's not really no money in completes. Simon, you could ask the question on YouTube. I can see the chat. We have people on YouTube on Zoom and on YouTube. So if you have any questions, just answer the question. Diego, what I would also suggest is do not buy a used paint booth. Don't buy a used paint booth because they're not going to go up. It's going to be a mess to put it up because once you take it down, it's going to be hard to reassemble it. It's going to be hard because you're going to have all these parts. It's a mess. Especially with the ventilation system, you have to have the ventilation system correctly. And it has to be ventilated correct. So let me see if I can add the link, Simon, so you can get on. Okay. Let me see. Let me do the chat here. Oh, here it is. Okay, here it goes. Here you go, Sam. Simon, ready? Simon. I'm gonna give you the link right now. There you go, Simon. Diego, did you open your shop yet, or are you still in the process of getting that going? What stage are you at, Diego? What stage are you currently at? Okay, yeah, I'm open, but only work in the afternoon. Are you uh is your shop on like is it open to public, or it's just like a private shop? Let's just I'm just gonna assume that it's a afternoon shop, right? Let me see. Okay, so check this out, Diego. What you can do is to start to generate traffic to your location. Do you have is it a business name? Check it out, Diego. One thing that I would suggest, if you're not, Diego said, I am a painter at a current shop. Yeah, it's closed while I'm away, open when I'm off. All right. So what he's saying is like he works somewhere full time and then he does it in the evening, right? So how is he going to transition? How is he going to get more traction over there? Because right now it's really word of mouth, right? So it's like he's like doing friends, maybe someone that knows what he needs, a side job, or I know a guy and he can do it on the side, this and that, right? Okay, so he can create Diego can create a Google Maps, a link for Google Maps. Like he can create a location for his Google Maps. Okay, he can go to Fiverr and he can make a logo. Okay, so you can make a logo for maybe like $10. You'll make a logo maybe $15, maybe $20 at the most. You're gonna make a logo of your shop, right? Whatever the name is, you can make a logo. You can go to Google My Business, and you can add a location on the Google Business. Are you on Google Business? So you can go to Fiverr, make a logo, and then you can create a Google My Business location that has the shop there. You can set the hours for the evening. You can set the hours for the evening, and so now you can start to build up traction. You can start to build up like attention, because look, if you do a good job, they're gonna give you a review. You understand? And now you're gonna start to get more traffic. You know, you're gonna start to get more traffic. People are gonna call you, and when they call your phone, you can just say, "Hey, can you text me? What do you?" And so what I always like to ask is like, "What are you trying to do?" So if a customer calls a client, I say, what are you trying to do? Okay. Uh, okay, low key auto creation is nice. Okay. Nice. Okay. What do you want to do next? What's the next level? What do you want to take it to the next level? What do you feel is holding you back from going to that next level? And then I'm gonna answer Simon's question. Simon has a question. What is the process of getting DRP? Diego, what is the next level? What do you want to take the business next? And I'm going to give it Simon. So Simon asked, what is the process of getting a DRP shop? So Simon, to be honest with you, like we're not a DRP shop. We're not a DRP shop. We're an independent shop. And one of the things that I've noticed was See, whenever we started, I noticed that a lot of shops that are DRP, they don't have a brand. They don't have a brand, or they're not building their brand. Okay. And so one thing with the DRP shop is that you got to make sure that you have all your things in order. What I mean by that is like your cycle times, your iCar Gold. There's a bunch of requirements that you need, right? I know a shop owner, and she was a DRP, a shop for Progressive, okay? And Progressive told her, if we're gonna keep this relationship as a DRP, you need to update all your equipment, okay, to aluminum repair, and you need to have an aluminum room, and you need to have this digital measuring system. And so she went and she got a loan to get all this equipment. Okay. A couple months later, Progressive pulled out of her shop because of a disagreement they made with, like, so that they screwed her over, because look, there's a written agreement, right? But the written agreement is built, it's in their favor. It's not in your favor. Like the agreement is built on them. It's not an equal deal. It's not an equal deal. So basically what happens is, yeah, they're gonna bring you work, but they're gonna run you to the ground. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the right people, if you don't have the right culture, if you don't have the right leadership, it's gonna be a shit show, dude. Like it's gonna be a shit show. So how do you get around that, right? So you build a brand for your business. Like you build a brand, okay? You build a brand and you market your brand, okay? And you start to create like you generate leads, through different marketing avenues. You generate leads. Someone calls it your location, you follow up with a lead, and you convert that lead into a sale. Like it's not very difficult, The advantage is that you're building a brand. Okay, you're actually building a brand for yourself. So now that brand, that personal brand, has value to it, because it's a personal brand that you built as an independent shop. So now, let's just say 5-10 years down the road, you built this brand. It's a quality brand. You could take it in a bunch of different ways, because now you can maybe sell your company, or you can franchise it, you can partnership. There's a bunch of different things you can do. So I mean, there's pros and cons to DRP. There definitely is. I would say once you build a good team, once you build a good clientele, that might be something you might want to consider. But look, why not hit up fleet accounts? Why not hit a fleet account? Think about that. So that there's other money besides DRP. There's other money besides DRP. And plus, like, it depends. What type of business are you going to be doing? Because look, our niche, my niche for my shop is minor repairs. Like, we don't do rollovers, we don't do frame sections, we don't do roof skins. Like, we don't do none of that. We don't pull engines out. We're not gonna do any of that. The thing we'll do rear body panels. Maybe we'll do radiator supports. Maybe we'll do a quarter panel, door skins. But we're not cutting the car in half, and we're not putting floor pans and trunk pans and rocker panels and all this crazy stuff. We're not doing that because that's our niche, and we stay within our niche. We see. And so if we were a DRP shop, they're going to be sending you shit that you have to do. Like, they're going to be sending you shit that you have to do. And so what happens is, like, let's just say you have a slow month, right? And then the next month they send you five slam cars. Like, they're slammed. Like, they need frame, they need quarter panels, they need roof skins, front end damage. And, so now what? Maybe you're not equipped with your guys. or maybe you only have two good guys, and so now your two good guys are tied up on those cars, and now it bottlenecks your shop. So you have to be very selective of what your niche is going to be, and if you really want to go out DRP, you see, you could still market to insure, like market that you do claims. Like you can still market that you do claims. In fact, it's even better because look, you don't have to give them discounts on parts. You don't have to adjust to their labor rates. You can charge them for more item lines that you actually do. So you have to really look at it that way. A lot of business owners, shop owners, they say, "Man, I just need more customers. I just need more customers." Well, you don't need more clients or customers. You need to figure out what you're not getting paid for and start to take the time and build for those things you're not getting paid for. Diego has a question. He says, "Well, I've been trying to get a business loan for equipment." Diego. So is your business an LLC? It's an LLC, and do you have a bank? Do you work with a bank? What kind of equipment are you looking to buy? What kind of equipment are you looking to buy? Oh shoot, sorry about that. Let me see. Booth, frame machine, lift, big tool, so I can get legit with the city requirements, past inspection. So I can leave my current job, start working at my shop full time. What mainly stopped me from with the paint booth was I can't legal on the city code. Yes, LLC. Okay. What about the inflatable booth? What about the inflatable booth? What city are you in? What I would recommend, I mean, it's kind of I mean, you can okay, so the frame machine, the lift, the bigger tools, right? So you can find someone that might be able to finance you those tools. Like for example, the frame machine, because look, you can go like on marketplace, or you can go where they're selling body shop equipment, and people are not really buying those from those people. So you can say, "Hey, would you finance it to me? Like, would you finance the equipment to me?" So if they have a frame machine that's 10 grand, say, "Hey, would you be willing to finance it to me in payments?" Like you have to be creative. Like you have to be creative. The way that you would get the bit, where do you have a bank that you work with? Port Arthur? So okay, look, check it out, Diego. You're gonna want to find a small bank, like a credit union or something local, right? And you're gonna want to talk to one of it's a commercial loan officer. You're gonna say, "Hey man, like I want to start to build up my credit with the bank." Okay. So basically what they're gonna do is they're gonna give you under your LLC, you want to get a collateral loan, right? So the collateral loan is going to help you to establish a relationship with the bank. So let's just say, for example, right now you say, "Hey, I want to get a collateral loan of $1,000, right?" So you give them 1,000, they're going to give you 900 back, and you just pay it back in payments, right? So like it's not a big amount, but what you're doing is you're building trust with the bank. So you do it one time, you do it again, maybe you do 3,000 or whatever, right? You pay it back. Now you're starting to build a relationship with that bank. Okay. Then you can say, "Hey, can I get a loan for equipment?" Okay. Usually they'll finance equipment with 20% down. Okay. But you have to have this conversation up front, because you don't want to go in there assuming they know what you're doing. You want to go in there and say, "Hey man, like in 2 years, I want to be able to buy a frame machine. I want to be able to buy a paint booth. The paint booth is 25,000. How can I make this work?" what they're gonna do is they're probably gonna run your credit and they'll say, okay, you know what, your credit score needs to come up. But if you start to do collateral loans with us, if you start to do more business here, we'll definitely work to help you out. They'll definitely work with you. And Diego, like, you know, part of the guys that I work with, I help them. I help them with those conversations. Like, I help them get those loans going, because what they'll do is they'll say, hey, let's say, for example, you talk to your loan officer, commercial loan officer, right? And you can say, hey, this is the guy that's a consultant of mine that's helping me with the business. So I talked to him and I said, hey, this is what we're looking to do. I want Diego to get a collateral loan so he can build a relationship with y'all. But in the next 2 or 3 years, will we be able to do a loan for some equipment with 20% down? How does that look like? And what he's gonna say is that he's gonna say, yeah, you know what, we could probably do something like that. We just need like a tax return, or how's he doing his taxes, or what's up on his taxes, or what's going on? Because right now, see, what you have going for you is you have employment. So you have current employment. So you can leverage your current employment with the business. So for example, like the LLC will apply to get a paint booth, right? Okay. But because you have a job, you'll be able to back up those payments. So for example, if your payments are $200 a month, they're gonna say, okay, well, he's able to afford it if the business can't pay for it, because he has an income already. So you actually are in a better position because you have current income already. What you don't want to do is you don't want to quit your job and then go into the shop and now you have zero income to prove on paper. Now you have income on paper to prove to the bank. I hope I was able to answer your question. And then Simon says, I mostly do work with used car dealerships and customers pay, but problem is that they just want everything cheap. It's hard to make money that way. Okay, Simon, are you using an estimating system? What estimating system are you using? What estimating system are you using, Simon? And I'm gonna tell you how to fix that problem. What estimating system are you using? Let me see. Let me see. Okay, Simon. Write this down. It's called WebEst. 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 WebEst is, let me see how much it is. This will help you clear that up quick. It's called WebEst. It's affordable collision estimates. The estimating system. Let's see. It's like cheap. It's like really cheap. Let me see how much it is. I'm gonna see how much it is. Man, I used to have WebEst back in the day. So WebEst, okay, it's called WebEst. Let me see. That's the name of the Simon. The reason why Simon's question is like he says, I mainly do work for used cars, dealerships, and customers pay, but problem is they just want everything cheap. So hard to make money that way. It is hard to make money because you don't know the accurate number. A lot of times, if you tell a customer, hey, it's gonna be $400 to paint your hood, They're like $400. Why is it so much? So what you need documentation. And so the WebEst is the cheapest estimating system you can get. What it does, it breaks down all the costs. So now you have your labor, you have the body, paint, material, and a total with taxes. Okay. And if you don't have a mixing system, just call the paint store. Just call the paint store and say, hey, how much is it for? Give me a quote for a quart of this color, a quart of reducer, a quart of clear, and a pint of activator. Maybe you need sealer, right? Maybe I need 3 rows of 3/4 inch tape, 1 and 1.5, 18-inch paper, maybe plastic or whatever, right? See how much that's going to be. And for example, you don't have to charge them for the whole roll of plastic or the whole roll of paper, but just charge them what you're gonna expenses are, and then you have that estimate of how much it's costing. One of the reasons why you don't make money with dealerships is because they don't like to pay, and a lot of times you don't do an accurate estimate on it. You know, they want things cheap. Okay, they want things cheap, and that's just the way it is. The only way you're gonna make money doing car lot work is if you're just like spotting it. If you're doing spotting and you're doing if you're doing like airbrushing and you're doing like this touch up, that's the only way you're gonna make money. Make ready. You're not gonna not to. For example, if they need a front bumper painted, that's more like the dealership work is more for like mobile body people. They go to the dealership and they'll spot the bumper, and you can tell where they spotted it because they're painting outside. They're mixing the color in the back of the van. They're touching it up. They're dabbing clear. That's the way you make money on dealership stuff. But if they're bringing it to your shop to do work, you're not going to make any money unless you have an accurate estimate. But I guarantee you, I run into this problem a lot because a lot of people call me and they're like, man, I do a lot of work for dealerships, but I'm not really making money. Okay. Break down how like what you're doing, and I guarantee you're actually losing money. You're losing money on those jobs because you know you want to do them right. You're like my name's on the line here. I want to make sure that it's a good job. And so what ends up happening is as you spend more money on material and stuff on labor than you actually made. So out of a $400 job, you probably made $50, you know, at the most. And then on top of that, they take forever to pay you. And sometimes they don't even want to pay you. You know, so sometimes you have to, and that's why a lot of people are doing, you know, they're doing customer pay and they're doing dealership work and they're not making any money. So they're like, man, if only I had DRP, I'll make money. You're not going to make money that way either. Like you got to brand yourself and you got to start to put your business out there and start to attract new clients, because look, the reason why you're not making any money off of your current clients is because they know you're going to do it cheap. So now you have to go get new clients. You have to go through a new marketplace. You have to go where people like the next income bracket, you know what I'm saying? The people that want good work, people that understand how the estimate, they give them an estimate of how much it is. If they don't want it, fine. Go down the street and get it done cheap. I don't care. You know? And so you have to set yourself apart and decide what kind of business you want to do. Do you want to do like dealership work, cheap work, and not making money? The only way you're gonna make money doing dealership work is if you're buying cheap material. You're buying that $50 clear and you're using what is it, the like Nason, or you're using Shopline, but that shit even gets expensive too, and plus it's real thin. And one of the problems with that, if you start to use cheap material, is it's going to be hard to to hire anybody to help you, because it's called cocktailing. Like you're cocktailing all your material. So you're using Nason, you're using Transtar, you're using this, you're using that, and you're cocktailing a bunch of different products to do a job. And so if you bring someone in, you can't train them because you don't have everything the same. Like you want to either get like chroma base or PPG or whatever the paint line is, whatever, right? You want to make sure you have a paint line So if you bring someone in, you show them how to mix, you show them what toner, I mean, what activator goes with what reducer. So it's easy to train someone new. I hope I was able to answer your question, Simon. But Simon, get the WebS. It's free for 15 days or something like that. You sign up, it's free for like 15 days. I think after that, it's like $100 or I don't know. I haven't got it in a long time. We use Mitchell, but WebS is probably going to be the best thing to start. You can even do WebS for customizing. I used to use WebS for customizing. And in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna talk about estimating, how to do your estimates, how to write them up, how to make sure that you're communicating and getting paid for those. Either it's a customer or an insurance claim. Hey guys, I went over my time. If this video had some value to it, man, give me a thumbs up. Maybe share it with somebody else, and make sure they tune in for next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. And like I said, if y'all have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll definitely reply to your messages. Okay. All right, guys, I'm signing off. Till next week.